you've heard me talk about these targeted Latino-heavy congressional races that are going to determine Congress. Now, I'm going to walk through about 10 of those. This is where you get your pencil out, or if you use a pen and write some of these down. I'm going to give you the Latino targeted congressional races by the density of the population, voting population there. So it's some real math, and I've got all my mathing. First of all is our good buddy Henry Cuellar. He's some of our buddies. He's really Trump's buddy. He ain't my buddy, but I like him. Whatever. He's all right. He's now, because of redistricting, in a Trump plus 11 seat. That's Texas 28. That seat is 85% Latino. So y'all shut up and sit down. 85%. You can't talk about that and not say that that's not a Latino seat, and it's an R plus 10. But to Mike Madrid's point, that was what Donald Trump got a year ago in that seat. Guess what, girls and boys? This is going to be part of the dummy mander, Texas 28. Next is Florida 27, Mike. That's down in Miami. Maria Salinas, the former Univision anchor, who is the Republican congresswoman there, is a Latino seat plus 71. 71% Latino in Miami. This is the Cuban seat, along with a couple others down there. If Mike Madrid, if I was asking you to do some math, of the 71% of the Latinos that live in Florida 27, what is it? 70, 80% Cuban?
It's not quite that high, but that's a great question. It's probably,
I don't know the answer.
It's sitting at more like 50, 55%. Okay. Yeah. But a lot of Venezuelans, a lot of Central Americans, Mexicans probably sit around fourth. That's South Florida broadly. I don't know that that's the entire area.
And it's Miami proper.
Yeah. So even the city of Miami is less than 50% Cuban, which is, it's been growing with other Central American and South American constituencies. Florida's that cool petri dish because you get all the diasporas, there's that word again, Chuck, all in one kind of kettle of fish without Mexicans. And so it allows us to kind of look at some very different things and start really dissecting and disaggregating the Latino vote. Got this great kid from Harvard I'm working with that's doing this amazing study on pulling together the different country of origins in Miami, and he's finding out some really fascinating things about way people are voting by country of origin. But the Cuban vote, and look, I Sabrina Rodriguez, big shout outs to her, who's now at the Wall Street Journal. We've had her on the show before. We should have her on again. She's Cuban. She's from Hialeah, down in Miami.
She's a princess of Hialeah. What are you saying?
She's the Duchess of Hialeah.
My bad.
She's a dear friend of both Chuck and I, and certainly the show. We were on CNN the other day, and she's like, "Mike, you're being a little bit rough on the Cubans," because sometimes I get a little bit rough on the Cubans because it's like you get to all the benefits of being
you and Boris, because Boris is from down there.
Boris and Sabrina are both from. I call him the Duke and the Duchess of Hialeah, of South Florida. Yeah, we were on the show. This is when I was out there in Washington a few weeks back. My point is, sometimes on social media, I'm a little bit critical of our Cuban brothers and sisters because it's like, I just want to be a reminder, Cubans, again, we bent over backwards as a country for the Cubans to allow as many immigrants here as possible from the small island nation. And I don't regret that. I think that's great, but they've got a certain obligation to be out there looking for, protecting, and fighting for other immigrants who are under similar circumstances. And they're not, brother. I always told them the Cubans are the most anti-immigrant, legal immigration, anti-legal immigration, along certainly with illegal immigration. And there's obviously, Cuban versus kind of the world thing going on there. I love them for who they are, but they're not. Up until this year, they have not been the best allies with other Latinos, I think, on a lot of these key issues. That's the way I'm going to say it.
If the Cuban vote is starting to slip because of this immigration stuff, like the story that we sent around, this could be a problem for her. If the Latino vote if the Cuban vote stays solid, she's got nothing to worry about. But if she loses 5%, 10% Cuban support because of what Donald Trump's doing by deporting Cubans, she's fucked.
I think she's in trouble. I think she's responding the way she is. Brother, I never thought in 35 years of doing this, I never thought I'd see the Cubans turning like this. Cuban elected officials are turning on Trump saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're deporting. It's like, that's the terror that all these other communities have been living under, my Cuban brothers and sisters. Now, do you get it now? Do you get it?
It's that old adage, when they come for the Mexicans, they came for the black people. They came for the Jews. I wasn't Jewish. I wasn't black. I was Cuban. Holy shit, they're coming for the Cubans now.
Yeah. Yeah, what did you think was going to happen? Here it is. And so once that happens, there's panic.
I'm going to bang through the rest of these, so pay attention. We just went Texas 28, Florida 27. Next is Bobby Polito, Texas 15, is 67% Latino.
Bobby, my dog.
That's a plus 12 Trump seat. So if that's swung, we're going to see about that. Texas 34, Vicente Gonzalez, it's a Trump plus 10 seat. These are all seats that Texas redrew. But watch in November to see how much more they swing. Maybe not enough, but we'll see. Vicente Gonzalez is 63% Latino. Then we leave the state of Texas. I'm doing these in order.
Yeah.
And go to California 13, something Mike Madrid may have been the first one to start talking about back in the day with this podcast. It's 41% Latino. Tell folks where the new
Valadeo's.
California 31 is. I know it's 13.
Del Valadeo, right?
No, this is the other one.
Boy, I don't do them by numbers, brother. I do by names.
Okay, it's the one where it's the one right below Valadeo. Wait, I got it.
Andrea's going to do a little editing here.
Adam Gray.
Oh, Adam Gray's seat. Yeah,
yes.
Boy, this was a big battlefield. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is a Stockton down into Modesto seat, down into the heart of the Central Valley seat. Adam Gray is kind of one of the last real true blue dog Democrats. Very, very moderate, very conservative, I would argue, Democrat. Great guy, very well liked, very well positioned.
They made this seat more Democratic, right, Mike?
They made this seat more Democratic. Now, remember, Adam Gray won this seat in a very strong rightward shift year amongst Latinos, very big Latino seat. In 2024, he's very well positioned. Became more.
He should be fine in this year, but this could be a seat that's in play in a presidential year.
That's exactly right. And so this is going to be a real test of the inroads that he makes. Adam is a really good campaigner. He's also a very intelligent strategist. He's really good at this. But so yeah, I think this is much stronger lean Dem seat at the moment. The question will be in the presidential year, what does it look like?
Next on the list is New Mexico 2, our good buddy who we've had on the Latino Vote podcast, Gabe Vasquez, 39% Latino. It's an R plus 1 or 2, but again, this is be a good year for that seat, but you have to protect. Next, interestingly enough, is probably one of the most interesting races, which is Texas 35. This was the old Greg Casar district that was in Austin and then went to San Antonio. It connected down 35. And the Republicans redrew this seat out of Austin, making Austin just have one seat where Greg Casar and the old white Democrat there he's retiring and Greg's taking over the liberal bastion seat in Austin. And they created this seat that is around San Antonio, and it's an R plus 12 last time, but it is 40% Latino.
That's a roll of the dice, brother.
It is 38% Latino, and there's a bunch of Latino Republicans and Democrats running against each other. This is a seat to really watch because the Republicans thought there was no way a Democrat could win this seat, but it's got a lot of Latinos in it.
Who's the candidate down there? Who's the likeliest candidate on the Dem side?
Oh, there's a bunch. There's a sheriff running.
Okay.
There's a Marine vet that we're helping a little bit named John Lira. I really like John Lira. He ran against Tony Gonzalez last time in the seat next door.
Okay.
And was on the general. So he's got some name ID.
Boy, Tony Gonzalez, some stuff going down there. Let's not touch that.
Yeah, I saw that was ugly. Next, after the Texas 35 race is another race we talked a lot about, which is Nellie Poe in New Jersey, which is 30% Latino.
Yeah. You did some work up there. You did some work up there in 2025.
Yep. We did all the door knocking.
A lot of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans now.
All Dominicans and Puerto Ricans almost.
Yeah.
The whole Latino pop
more Dominican than Puerto Rican. Yeah,
exactly.
Look at you got that. You've been practicing that word diaspora in the middle of the night. Yeah.
I had diaspora one time, but I took these pills and it made it get solid. Anyway, California 22 is Valadeo, which makes your eye twitch a little bit. We talked about that as, let me see if I learned that word, ad nauseum. Sometimes when I have anyway, not combining metaphors. California 22 is 52% Latino.
I think Valadeo loses. I'm going to go out on a limb and say David Valadeo loses. The only other time I've said this was 2018 when he actually lost. This is a rural red district with a lot of Latinos. I think it's the highest Latino Mexican American district represented by a Republican in Congress. And Valadeo has been a really exceptional candidate. I'm going to give him that. He's hung on.
Always overperforms.
The Democrats that's like the Texas of California, that district. The Democrats always say, we're going to turn it blue. They've turned it blue once in the past 15 years. And then he came right back and won it back 2 years later. So
in redistricting,
And
they've made it a little more Democratic.
It's a little more Democrat, which is all that seat needs, is just a little bit of
just
a smidge.
A little sugar.
You throw a little bit of that on top of a very bad Republican year, which this is likely going to be, and I think Valadao goes away. The question is going to be which candidate from the Democratic Party emerges. Is it going to be Rudy Salas again, or is it going to be this Indian moderate, very moderate Democrat who's in the legislature right now? I forget Jasmeet. I forget her name. But we'll, after the primary, we'll go through all these seats again.
Southeast Asian.
Southeast Asian. Excuse me. Are you involved in that race? You might be.
No. Oh, yeah. We're helping the Mexican run it.
Salas.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. We're helping the Latino that's there running, the aggressive Latino Mexican brother. It's not Rudy.
It's not Rudy? It's somebody to her left. Somebody to her left is running.
Oh, yeah. And I just had an old man brain fart.
Yeah,
We've been helping him since day one.
I get it.
Yeah.
So we'll come back and we'll do a look at all of these, but I do believe Valadao loses.
Randy Viejas.
What district is this?
No, Randy Viejas is running in California 22.
Okay, yeah. Well, I should know his name by now.
Yeah, he's a big Bernie guy. He's running to the left. He's raised money. So we'll see. Like Mike said, who comes out of that primary will have a big deal here. But Randy's Viejas against whatever the woman's name is.
Yeah.
The last one on this particular list is California 45, which is David Min down in Orange County. He's become a little more Democrat, but it was 20% Latino, so it's just one to watch. It should be good this year.
Much more suburban Latino than the Adam Gray and David Valadao seat.
Good point.
That's what you got to look at in Orange County. This is not farm worker country. This is not ag land. These are suburban Latinos who, vote patterns start to shift a little bit in a different direction there too. More college educated, more suburban, which breaks better for men. So Orange County is fascinating. We've talked about this a lot because you've got a lot of multiracial, multi-ethnic, college-educated voters where that traditional racial and ethnic pattern clashes with that kind of college-educated vote. Latinos are right in the middle of that, and that's really changing the way people are looking. But I think men will be fine.
Couple more. One more in California. This old seat, the seat that Daryl Ice is in down in San Diego, it's California 48, is 30% Latino. But did they make that more Democrat, more Republican?
They made it slightly more Democrat.
Okay.
They didn't make any. I don't think they made any seats more Republican. Is this the Young Kim versus Calvert battle?
No, this is a different. That's 40.
Yeah, boy, that's interesting. That's just warfare, open Republican on Republican violence. Ooh,
yes,
boy, by the way, this is what's fascinating too. No one's paying attention to this. Latinos are going to determine who the Republican nominee is going to be in that Republican seat, by the way. And they're polling at a dead heat at 38, 39%. This is a 2 Republican incumbent member battle royal. And they've been beating up on Latinos, both sides, for 20 years. And now they suddenly need their votes. And they're going to have to posture differently to get out of that primary.
A couple more, and then we'll let Mike talk about his brother-in-law, which is Colorado 8. Again, different kind of Latinos, north of Denver. There was a Latina who got elected there 4 years ago, and guess what? Lost in a Trump wave year last year. And now they've got a Latino and a few others on a Democratic ticket. A Latino is probably going to win this primary in a seat that is 30% Latino in a good year for Democrats. This is the one the Democrats think that they'll win back along with a few others, but this is definitely that Colorado suburban Denver seats, much like the Orange County seat that they were talking about. And then the last two are Arizona 6, where there's a Republican Latino we always talk about down there, Siscomani in Arizona 6, which is 20% Latino. It may be more than that. But those Arizona seats are interesting. But that's kind of like all of those seats we just talked to. And we didn't talk about Pennsylvania 7, that's got the Puerto Ricans, that's 18% Latino, or New York 2, or any of those. But just the ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like 15 or 20 seats.
We'll do a whole little breakdown of them with a little manual for everybody. I think, Chuck, is what we ought to do. But yeah, we're going to spend some time on we'll bring in some of these candidates to kind of talk about them, give them a little bit of airtime here, some national news, help them with some of their fundraising efforts, both sides, Republican and Democrat, because we're equal opportunity offenders here. But let me one quick thing that Chuck mentioned that I want to bring up. He keeps mentioning this 30% number. Let me tell you why this is so important. Between 1990 and 2010, every time the Latino percent of the population, just the population, not even the voter model, but the population would hit 30% in California, the Republican would lose that seat. You could count on it like clockwork. 30% was the magic number. There was not, for 20 years, there was not a Republican who would represent a district. And as California was becoming more and more Latino between 1990 and 2010, once it hit 30%, they would lose that seat. And we're going to see if that metric holds out. Again, Latino voters are changing in their behavioral patterns. But I do want to see, just as an old guy, to see if that old, guideline, if that old rule in the rule book holds true as we look into a year like this and going forward.